What's up, guys? It's your girl, Phoenix Novell. Welcome back to my channel, Boss Bitch Tips. And today's video is about the best and worst sex I've had with betas. Yes, it's different. Sex between alphas and betas are definitely different experiences. I think the biggest difference I would say between betas and alphas is that alphas don't usually, in my experience, they don't usually question themselves. You know, they're more confident in the way that they act overall, pretty much. And in bed, you know, you feel that confidence. They have less to prove to you, if you understand what I mean by that, because they have less to prove to themselves. Like, they're not in competition with you; they're in competition with themselves to be the best. And when they're on their A game, it's like they're not really thinking about trying to keep you on yours or make sure you are happy with them. They're secure in themselves, and so there's less room to kind of like there's less room for you to kind of like be able to control their emotions. They're not really looking for outside validation as much as betas are sometimes. So that's in my experience personally. You may or may not agree, but let's get into it. We're going to start with my best sexual experience with betas. My best sexual experience with betas was I was dating this guy who just treated me like a queen in bed. I mean, any and everything I wanted. He made sure that I was his main priority. And he listened very well, to the point where it's just like if my ego wasn't in check like it was when I was a little younger, then I would easily run roughshod over a guy like that, you know. But I met him at a time where I was more mature and more deserving of this kind of treatment, if you will. But he was so sweet, so kind, so giving, and so attentive to detail. It was the best experience because I didn't feel like I didn't feel like I was giving more than he was. I didn't feel like I was trying so hard. I didn't feel like I needed anything, you know. But he was a beta because he really, really needed to know how well he did all the time, every time we were intimate. You know what I'm saying? It was like, did you like that? How many times did you climax? And it got to a point where I started lying about how many times I had an orgasm. Because the more orgasms he thought I had, the more his face would light up, you know. And it was just like, I just was doing it to make him happy after a while, but it just was like, oh God, you know, I don't like to be with a guy like that, where it's like they need to try so hard to please you. And that's why I know it's like with the guy can't be too much of a beta. I know that I'm an alpha, and I know that I naturally attract guys who are more feminine or have more feminine energy. But I need a man who's a little bit more secure, and that's where we kind of like fell off, because that kind of behavior wasn't only apparent in our intimacy in the bedroom. It was kind of how he was in a lot of areas, unsure, insecure, looking for external validation. But we had the best sex because I felt so confident, you know what I'm saying? I didn't feel like I had to pretend. I never wore makeup when I was with him. Like, I mean, he just loved me, kissed me all the time, made me feel beautiful all the time. And it's crazy because sometimes certain people bring out parts of you that are more insecure, and then sometimes other people bring out the more parts of you that are so confident. It's crazy. Like, you should be able to stabilize your own emotions and be comfortable in your own self before you date people in general, because your character can change depending on who you're with if you're not confident and solid. But yeah, that was my best experience because he was definitely willing to please me in every way. My worst experience with the beta was dating this guy who, I don't know, I thought he was really attractive. I really liked him in terms of he seemed like quiet, you know, which I like because it allowed me to kind of take the lead naturally. But I don't know, when it comes to intimacy, sometimes it's really the dance that you do can be really, it's not stable. I mean, sometimes you can be more passive, sometimes you can be more aggressive, depending on the moment, the mood, the person, the atmosphere. And with him, I don't know, I just didn't take the lead and pounce. And I think eventually he started to get a little antsy and start questioning himself. So eventually he came to me and was like, listen, I like you, and he was assertive in what he was saying, but he was saying basically, like, he'll do anything, what I'm saying, anything that I wanted because he liked me so much. So whatever you want, I'll be. Whatever you need, I'll be. And I just kind of threw me because I was kind of like, I don't know what that means. And I was just like, I said to him, okay, well, since we're being honest, I kind of like a guy who's a little bit more assertive, because I do. I just don't attract that on a regular basis. But, I was saying that I kind of like a guy who's a little bit more assertive or whatever. And I don't know. The next time I saw him, he was just kind of like dressed like Tupac. I mean, had this and he already had a bald head, but had this do-rag on him, just completely changed his image. And it was just kind of like a turn off to me, because I was just like, who the hell? I wasn't, that wasn't something that I was looking for or going after. And it wasn't what drew me to him, but he completely did a 160. Like, he thought that was what I meant by assertive and aggressive. Tupac, But, although I love Tupac, like, this dude wasn't Tupac. But he was dressed like him and acting like him, and it was just like, okay. So eventually we wound up having sex, and he could not get it up. Just could not. And he was damn near in tears, and I was like, it's okay. Like, it's all right. This happens sometimes. It doesn't happen to me often, but at the time I was just like, it happens, okay, maybe you're just nervous or you wanted to, but I didn't know what to say. But I really believe it was because he wasn't comfortable. He was trying too hard to be something he wasn't. And again, like I said before, you can't fake your energy. So something wasn't in alignment within his image and who he was, and his body was reflected. Like, just be who you are, just be who you are. That's my advice, for all the betas in the world, for everybody in the world. Just be who you are, because who you are is going to reveal itself, and if you're suppressing something, those symptoms can come out in ways that you don't want them to show. And that was definitely a prime example, because we couldn't experience each other sexually because he just could not get it up. And eventually I was just like, I didn't want to start thinking that it was something that I did or something that I said. And I felt a little guilty by telling him how I felt, in terms of what I liked. But he put me on a spot because he was just a little too needy. So that is my best and worst experience with betas. Leave a comment below. Let me know your best and worst experience with betas. Let me laugh. Some things may not be funny, but now I can laugh at them because they're in my past. But if you have any questions, comments, or topic ideas, make sure you email me at asktheboss@gmail.com, because I want to cover topics that you guys might be interested in talking about. Okay? Thanks again for tuning in. Peace.